There comes a point in time in everybody's life when they must answer this one question. Who do I want to become? Now, don't get me wrong, it's much easier to continue living on the same life you've been living, hanging out with the same people, going to the same places, doing the same things. After all, that is comfortable, right? And we as humans, we subconsciously desire comfort and safety and security. Now, the thing is, many people deep down truly aren't okay with continuing to live the same life that they've been living for all these years. They crave something more, something meaningful, something fulfilling, even if that comes at the expense of their comfort. They want to see new places, they want to do new things, they want to accomplish more within their life, and yet nothing really changes. This is because that subconscious, deeply rooted desire to feel comfortable and safe and secure overpowers their conscious, logical decision making. This is something that I struggled with for many years. I wanted to do new things and meet new people and create a better life for myself, but I always felt like something was pulling me back. It wasn't until maybe a year and a half ago, when I fully realized how I was able to do it back in 2020, 2021, and what actions I took that allowed me to create this better and more fulfilling and meaningful life for myself, all right? So this video is for those of you who are in this position where you know there are things you want to do, you know there are things you want to achieve, and you really want to make that change within your life, but you're just not sure, you're not sure where to start or how to go about doing these things in practical terms, all right? So let's get into it. When I was in university, many of my evenings and weekends were spent hanging out with the wrong people, going to house parties, drinking, smoking, doing all those hedonistic things, those things that essentially help me escape the moment, escape my reality. And I thought these were cool things to do. I thought by hanging out with these guys and these girls that made me somebody who was popular, right? This was a routine for me. And then in March of 2020, everybody on campus was sent home due to the pandemic. And this, at first, was something that really sucked. Nobody wanted to be involved with that, right? But within a few months, I realized that this was actually one of the best things that could have happened to me, because it pulled me from that zone of always partying and hanging out with the wrong people to back to my parents' house, where I wasn't doing any of that. And this changed my life for the better. I started reading books, many of them are behind me. I started writing. I started learning new skills and hanging out with new people, and things did go well. Fast forward a few years, I'm at a bachelor party for one of my buddies. He's getting married and he's like, all right, yeah, let's go camping. Now, many of the guys that he invited to be a part of his wedding were guys he met from his work. And I was like, all right, I'll come along. Aside from my friend who's the one getting married, I didn't know anybody there. But I said, all right, whatever. I'm going to support you. Let's have a fun time. So we go up camping, and that first night there, I immediately realized these people, these are the image of people I don't want to become. Because these guys are doing things that I was doing at 19, 20, 21 years old. And then at that time, of course, I stepped away from the lifestyle, and here these guys were 8 to 10 years older than I was, and they were still doing the same thing. So I tell you this because that moment right there, as I was sitting by the campfire around these other guys who were just drinking and smoking and doing all these unhealthy things that I hadn't been doing for all these years, that was like a nail in the coffin moment for me. That was a big time of realization. And in that moment, I was like, yeah, I'm very glad I've made the choices I've made over these last 5 years, 6 years since university. I've turned down so many invitations to go out to bars and clubs and hang out with these people and these people, to drink and do all these other things that I have been consciously trying to avoid. And instead of doing those things, I've been writing content, working with my email marketing clients, making these videos more recently. And at times it's like, what am I doing with my life? Is me turning down a fun time for a Friday night or a Saturday night to do something that might not even benefit me for years down the line even worth it? But in that moment, as I sat by the campfire around all these other guys that I really didn't know, acting like a bunch of 18-year-old idiots, even though they were 30, 32-year-old men, this validated all the choices that I made. I'm not saying these are bad people, and I'm not saying the occasional drink or smoke is a bad thing, but that lifestyle, those choices simply don't align with the life that I'm trying to create. Now, I tell you this personal story because something tells me I'm not the only one who's gone through this. Maybe you, whether that's more recently or in the past, have been through similar experiences. And maybe you're thinking, well, that work that I'm doing at my 9 to 5 job, or that work that I'm doing on my business, or that passion project that I'm doing, it's just, I'm not seeing the immediate results. So maybe I'm just going to skip out on that and go indulge in some short-term pleasures. And you can do that. That's totally your choice. But if you have a clear vision for your life, if you know exactly what you want to achieve, what you want to be living like 5, 10, 15 years down the line, then you're going to have to make these choices. But then there becomes a big problem with this. It's one that I faced firsthand, especially in these last 2 or 3 years, is that you become lonely because many people are not on the same path as you. You're in the stage where perhaps you're no longer hanging out with those old friends who are doing the things that you no longer want to be doing, but you haven't made those new friends. You haven't achieved enough success within the thing that you're doing to meet those people at the higher level, living the life that you want to live. So this is where it's so tricky, and you feel isolated and you feel lonely, and it's as if you're stuck in purgatory. It's tough to be there. It's very tough to be in this purgatory state because maybe you've made these changes to your thoughts and your beliefs and your actions and your lifestyle and everything you're doing from morning until night, but you don't have the results to show for it. And because you don't have those results to show for what you're doing, it's almost as if there's something pulling you back to that old life because you know that, okay, well, I can skip out the hard work with whatever this thing is I'm trying to pursue because I'm not even seeing any results right now. And the appeal to go back to how things were is very strong. Many people don't think that grind, that pushing through towards the objectives you want to hit, towards the lifestyle you want to live is worth it because we've conditioned our minds through short-term gratification, through social media, and the conveniences of modern day life that if we don't get the things we want immediately, then it's simply not worth the effort. Even though most things that are worth pursuing don't come quickly. They take time, they take effort, they take consistency with being intentional with your attention. Look, you can choose whoever you want to be in this life, but in doing so, you're also choosing who you don't want to be. And that can be very difficult. It's a very tough choice to make. But if you're serious about building this better life for yourself or your kids or your parents or your spouse or whomever, then I strongly recommend you shed those layers, those parts of you, whether they're your negative beliefs or your bad habits, and you also shed those other aspects of your environment. That could be old friends, that could be old beliefs, that could be old places you go to, and step into this better version of yourself. And most of all, enjoy the process. I know it sounds so cliche, like it's all about the journey, man, not about the destination, but it's true. All those days where you're putting in the hard work, you're waking up early, you're staying late, and you're doing things that you deeply love and care about, even if you're not seeing the immediate results, those are the days that you're going to look back on and be like, yeah, I enjoyed those days. So, yeah, I'll end it here. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.